Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rebecca, and today I will be working on fitting a skirt block to my own measurements. So we are going to be doing this the quick and easy way. I could draft this from measurements. I do have a book, How to Make It for Fashion Design, that I could use to do that, but we're just trying to do a quick shortcut here to get to a basic fitting block. So we are going to actually use this pattern from, let me turn around the right way, Butterick. It's Butterick 5719. It's a little bit of an older pattern, as you can tell from the pictures on it, whatever. But let's just pull up this one, it'll be easier to see. It's got a very basic straight skirt and well, that's a jacket, but we're not using that today, so ignore that. Today we're just using the skirt pattern, and we're going to use that to get a good starting point for making a skirt block that is going to fit me perfectly. So we're going to go ahead and jump on into that and stick around to the end, and we should hopefully have a finished block that we will be able to use for creating all sorts of skirt designs in the upcoming videos. So I'm excited about that. Okay, I'll see you guys at the cutting table. Okay, so we have the pattern pieces all cut out, and I've pinned them together along the seam line. And I've also put in, this is just some of that washable Crayola marker. I could have just used regular marker since this is just a muslin for a mock-up, but I marked where the pins are, so when I go to fit it on my body, if I end up moving any of the pins, I can see what the original seam line was, so I can mark that a little more easily on my pattern. I've got the darts pinned closed. This is the center front, and this is the length and shorten line. I should have marked the hip line, which I think is where this circle is at, but I just wanted a horizontal line so I can make sure the balance of the skirt is right. And then here's the back, and I did the same thing with that line, and the back has arrows that show the vertical line to make sure that's straight. The front has the center front marked, so that'll serve the same purpose. And then also have the darts pinched back there, and this skirt pattern has a center back zipper, but for ease of pinning things on myself, I've put the opening on the side for right now, just so when I slip it on I can actually see where I'm pinning things shut. So yeah, the next step is to go ahead and try this on and fit it to my body. So I will see you in the next part. So now that the pieces are all pinned together, I was able to try it on and start pinching out any excess fabric and figuring out where exactly I wanted the darts to sit and the side seams and all those little things, just so I can get a good idea. I did end up going back in later and changing a lot of the stuff, which you'll see later on in the video, but for now this was just getting a very basic fit just to see how I liked it. And then after this I'm going to go ahead and sew it together so it's a real mock-up with the zipper and everything, so I can get a better visual of how it's looking without all the side seams bulging out like that. And then of course I had to do a sit down test to make sure I can sit down comfortably, which I could, so that was great. And then take that pattern apart so I can sew it back together. here I have the finished mock-up on, and I was talking in this clip, but it just was not recording right, so this is just the basic showing you how it's fitting. I have a clip in just a second that goes into more detail, but yeah, overall, I'm really liking how this is fitting. So I just watched the footage back that I just took and realized you really could not see anything I was talking about because of this being white, off-white fabric. So maybe now you can see. Let me see if I can get better. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I was talking about with the center front. As you can see, I've taken out a little bit of fabric there. It's probably looks like about 1/4 inch on the fold, so a total of like 1/2 inch. So I took it out there so that the waist darts wouldn't have to take out as much, so they'd be flatter, because I just was finding it was giving way too much ease at the bottom of the darts, and it was just looking a little weird. So I went ahead and took it out through the front and let the darts out a little bit so they're smaller than original. And as you can see, geez, try to figure out which side I'm looking at. Yeah, okay. So there was originally 2 darts right here, and I messed with them a variety of times. I made them longer, took them in more, and then ultimately switched to this 1 dart just because I felt like it laid flatter. The side seam, there's a ton of excess because I cut the skirt out a couple sizes bigger than I knew should be. That way I could take it in to fit perfectly right. My phone keeps disconnecting from my laptop and not wanting to show me what I'm doing, which is very not cool. There we go. Hopefully it works that time. So yeah, took out a ton of fabric at the side. At that side, oh, there's a zipper. And then the back, see, this side still has 2 darts because I didn't feel the need to change it since this is just the mock-up, and I'll change it on the pattern. This is the side that has just the 1 dart, and I moved the position of the dart a little bit so it fit the fullest part here around my hips best. So that's where that dart is laying. And I like how it's laying. I think when I do like a princess seam, it'll hang pretty straight from the fullest point of my hip there, so that should be perfect. And then the sides didn't match up super great at the top because of how I cut it out bigger, but that's fine. I'll just make sure the length and shorten line right here matches up at the sides, and then trim off whichever one is too tall. But yeah, okay, so now we can go transfer this to paper pattern. So the first part in transferring it is taking it apart, and I always use a razor blade when I'm taking apart stuff like this, where I'm not concerned about it nicking any of the fabric, because I'm not planning on reusing this fabric for a finished garment itself. That's fine with me. If I was actually in the middle of making something and I need to take it apart, I would most likely use a seam ripper just because it's a little bit safer, but it also just depends on the fabric. Some thicker fabrics, it's super safe to use the razor with, and some really thin fabrics, it's a little easier to catch it and nick the fabric. So yep, just taking apart all of the seams I have sewn so I can get this as flat as possible to transfer it to paper. And here we go. We have the original pattern pieces from the butterick pattern. And then we took those and made our mock-up, see all the different alterations we made to it. And then from that, we took and transferred the final markings to our paper pattern. And this is poster board, so it's a little thicker, so I can use it to trace out other patterns in the future. The darts, I went in and punched holes at the point of the dart and like the dart legs where they meet the seam line at the top. That way I can transfer those markings really easily to fabric when I cut stuff out. And then this top corner over here where the center back is, that should be straight for a skirt block, which I forgot about. It's just the tiniest bit curved, but it shouldn't be a problem. If I want to make a skirt with just a solid back, I can transfer that difference to the dart or to the side seam instead of the center back. Thank you guys for hanging around through this whole process, and stick around so you can see more of my sewing projects in the future. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so YouTube will send the video to more people who want to see sewing content like this. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.